Hello, welcome to your second yoga class. My name is Laura, and today I would like to introduce you to the practice of Svadhyaya. So Svadhyaya is an inner observance to be self-aware, to be present in your awareness of self. And while we traveled through the practice of Ahimsa last lesson, today we're going to continue with that practice of honouring ourselves and being kind and compassionate towards ourselves, but also with the idea that we're incorporating Svadhyaya or self-awareness. So when you come into your practice today, I'm going to not only invite you to go a little more gently, but also to be mindful, to be aware and to be present in the practice. Now, whilst yoga has become synonymous with a physical practice, the physical practice of yoga was actually designed originally, thousands of years ago, to allow those who practice yoga to come into meditation. And one of the bridges between the physical practice and the meditative practice of yoga is the breath, or in yoga we call it pranayama. Prana being the energy or the oxygen that you draw into your body, and yama being the ability to control the prana. So pranayama. So two ideas that we're going to incorporate today in your practice. Svadhyaya, so awareness of self and being completely mindful and present in each and every moment. And pranayama, or breath control. Now, the reason we practice pranayama or breathing in yoga is to bring us into the present moment, into self-awareness. One of the beautiful benefits of tuning into your breath is that it draws us out of the past and it stops us from seeking the future. So it does bring us directly into the present moment. So before we begin our practice today, I also invite you to set the intention of being mindful and being present. And even just now, noticing how you feel and perhaps giving yourself a mental rating out of 10. So in terms of distractedness and things going on around you, perhaps you can hear trains in the distance, perhaps you might hear your family in the next room, perhaps you've got your mind worrying about the things that you might need to do. And perhaps give yourself a rating on a scale between 0 and 10 as to how distracted you feel right now. And then we're going to rate ourselves on that scale again at the end of the practice. So pranayama, breath control, svadhyaya, or self-awareness. Set your intention now to be present, to be mindful. Give yourself the gift of time and give yourself the opportunity to be present. So today's practice will involve a little bit of movement, but not a lot, as we draw on the philosophy of union, of yoga, and using the breath as a bridge between the physicality of yoga and the meditative aspects of yoga. So let's begin in a comfortable position. You might choose to be seated, you might choose to lie down. Just make sure you are comfortable and warm and that your body is not going to call to you in any way. And close your eyes. Even if you have an eye pillow or an extra blanket or a sleeve of a jumper that you can place over your eyes, particularly if you're lying down, please reduce that temptation to open your eyes and be drawn out of your mindfulness. And as you close your eyes, just feel yourself bringing all of your awareness, zooming all of your awareness into the present space that you exist within. So there might be sounds, there might be movement in the room around you, there might be other things that are distracting you right now. But know that you are offering yourself this gift of time. So whilst the world continues around you, all of your awareness is zooming into your physical being. All of your awareness is zooming into that space just outside the reaches of your body. Know that whatever is going on outside of your little cocoon can coexist. You don't need to be drawn into it. You don't need to attach awareness to anything that's going on outside of your cocoon. So bring your awareness into your cocoon. Be aware of the shape of your body. And once again, we draw our awareness to the breath. As you're breathing in and out, just noticing how the breath travels through the body. Giving yourself the gift of presence as you tune in to that gentle feeling of expansion on the inhalation. The breath creating a little more space within your body. And as you breathe out, feel the sensation of letting go. The exhalation bringing a sense of softening into your body. Breathing in, feeling expansion, and breathing out, feel yourself letting go. You might like to exaggerate the breath now. As you breathe in through the nose, feel the breath coming into the body, feel the energy traveling within you. And as you breathe out, feel free to sigh it out, letting go completely. Feel free to make whatever noise comes naturally to you as you breathe out. Let's do this a few more times. Breathing in through the nose, feeling expansion, feeling the energy traveling within, and breathing out. Letting go of the day. Breathing in and letting go of the week. Letting go of the month, letting go of the year. Breathing in. Letting go of tomorrow. Letting go of doubt and fear. And on your next breath in, breathe in positivity, energy. Letting go on the exhalation. One more time and let this last exhalation really count. Feel free to make a sound as you breathe out. Truly letting go and bring all of your awareness into the present moment, into your body, and your body's union with the breath. At this stage, you might like to, if you're new to belly breathing, place your hands over your belly with your fingertips touching. You'll start to feel the natural rise and fall of your diaphragm. Taking the breath all the way down into the belly. On the inhalation, feeling the diaphragm expand. And on the exhalation, feel that diaphragm gently contract again. Breathing in, feel expansion. And breathing out. Let the belly soften as the diaphragm gently contracts. As we come into this belly breath, you're allowing yourself to open up the lower lobes of the lungs, feeling the breath expand into the belly as your fingertips slightly separate, and breathing out as the fingertips gently touch. Imagine as you're breathing in that your belly is like a balloon gently expanding, and as you breathe out, a gentle contraction of the diaphragm as you soften, release the breath. Let's take this breath now up into the ribs. You might like to place one hand either side of the rib cage. This time, as you breathe in, feel your rib cage open up and expand as you breathe into the spaces in between each rib, into those intercostal muscles. As you breathe out, a very gentle softening of the rib cage. Breathing in. Feel the openness in the ribs. Feel your lungs unfurl like a pair of wings inside the rib cage. And breathing out, a gentle softening. You might feel this breath not only in the sides of the ribs, but as you breathe in, you feel the expansion into the front and into the back of the ribs as well, as the ribs expand and open up in each direction. And on the exhalation, there is a softening. As we move further up the chest, you may choose to place one or two hands over your heart. And this time, as we breathe in, we feel the expansion across the heart space, in the upper chest, underneath the pectoral muscles. And then breathing out, soften that heart as it very gently sinks back in towards the body. Breathing in, lifting, opening up and expanding around the heart space, and breathing out, softening, releasing. We're going to put these 3 points of expansion into one smooth breath, Dikaswama breath, or 3-part breathing. Our 3 parts being our belly, our ribs, and our upper chest. So feel free to place one hand over your heart, one hand over your belly, so at the top and the bottom of the wave of the breath. We start by expelling all of the air out of our lungs as we breathe out. And then as we breathe in, we start by taking the breath into the belly, the rib cage, continue to expand up into the heart space. As we breathe out in reverse. Heart space, ribs, belly. Breathing in, let that wave of a breath travel from the belly into the ribs, into the heart. And then as you breathe out, gently softening through the heart, the rib cage, the belly, the wave subsides or recedes. Breathing in, the wave of the breath comes into the belly, the rib cage, the heart. Breathing out, softens through the heart, the ribs, the belly. Continue with this breath, and as you continue with this 3-part breath, you'll notice a pause at the top of the breath as you hold full expansion in your torso. And as the wave of the breath recedes, you'll notice how your body softens and melts, letting go of any tension. Notice the pause again at the top of the breath. As you hold full expansion, your body open. And as you breathe out and the wave subsides, noticing how your body softens and is receptive in that moment of stillness. Let's just do this 3 more times, letting that wave of a breath traveling 3 parts, in and out of the shoreline of your body, a gentle wave of the breath lapping at the shoreline of your body. And on the close of your next exhalation, feel free to rest your hands wherever they are comfortable and just allow the breath to return to a natural pace, a natural rhythm, a natural flow. But checking in with yourself in this moment of receptivity, this moment of stillness, being present and continuing to remain present with that union between body and breath, and noticing how you feel. If you were to attach a word to how you feel right now, I wonder what that word might be. Remembering your promise, your intention to remain present and focused, and give yourself the gift of time. Just allow yourself to be still for a few more gentle moments of stillness. And then we're going to continue to focus on our breath, our pranayama, but we're going to move through into an all-fours position. Now, we found some flexion and extension in the spine in our last practice. We're going to do the same, so growing or expanding on that cat-cow movement, but here in an all-fours position. So the knees stay underneath your hips, the hands underneath your shoulders. If your wrists or your shoulders feel tight at any point, feel free to come down to the forearms. As long as your crown is still reaching away from your tailbone and your rib cage is still reaching out of your hips. So take a breath in, feel yourself growing tall and lengthening through the spine. Now you can have the feet flat, or you might like to tuck the toes under and get simultaneously into those reflexology points at the soles of the feet. Again, we're focusing on being mindful with our breath and with our movement, finding that union between the two. So breathing in, growing tall through the crown. And as you exhale, give your heart a little hug, chin to chest, rounding tailbone under as you arch your back. Inhale to very gently sway crown and tailbone towards the sky, heart lifting to the horizon. Exhale to arch. And inhale to sway. And you can go as slow as you like, being mindful and present with your breath. And as you exhale, you hold full expansion behind the heart. As you inhale, hold full expansion across the front of the heart. Noticing those gentle pauses again, both at the top of the breath and at the end of the breath. Noticing how the active parts of the breath, both the inhalation and the exhalation, lead into stillness, into the receptive parts of the breath. Let's just do that one more time. Lifting your heart to the horizon as you sway, and then lengthening out as you come back to a neutral spine, crown reaching away from the tailbone. Now we can come into a lateral flexion here as well, matching the movement with our breath. Breathe in to lengthen through the spine. As you breathe out, look over one shoulder, drawing rib cage down towards the hip. Inhale to come back to center. Exhale, look over the opposite shoulder. Now imagine you're between two panes of glass. As you exhale, come into that lateral flexion, and inhale, come back to center. It's a gentle squeeze between rib cage and hip, or armpit towards hip. If you'd like to create a little more warmth in the body, you can layer this up by exhaling to arch first and continue to breathe out as you look over your shoulder, returning back to center in a neutral spine. Exhale to arch first if you like, before looking over the shoulder. And then inhale, return to neutral spine. Whichever option, whichever layer you've chosen, we'll do that one more time on each side. Using your breath to create movement. And then returning to center. Very gently, let the big toes kiss, knees come out wide, and come into a child's pose. Again, from last week, your choice is to either extend into full pranam or take your hands down by your feet and let the shoulders round forward. You can stack your hands underneath your forehead for a little bit of added height, and just noticing the breath as it travels through the body. Taking a breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. We're going to reach those arms out long. Keep the spine nice and straight, the hips low towards the heels, tucking the toes under, and lift the hips into your downward facing dog. We're going to move and travel with the breath now. So taking a breath in, lift the hips high. As you exhale, bringing your body weight forward into a plank. Inhale, lift the hips. Exhale, bring the body weight forward. You can also do this from the knees. You can inhale, come back to all fours. Exhale, hinge forward. Or you can come into a variation of the two. Inhale, downward facing dog. Exhale, low plank. So just moving and traveling with the breath, whichever option you've decided on. Making sure that you remain safe, protecting your lower back by hugging your abdominals in towards the spine, keeping your crown nice and long away from the tailbone. Let's finish in our downward facing dog and then come up onto the toes, down onto the knees. Let's come all the way down onto our belly, placing the hands a little bit above your ear line on your mat and pressing to the forearms as you lift into a Sphinx pose. So here in Sphinx, we're lifting our heart to the horizon and breathing in. Now we're going to stay here for a few breaths and just noticing how the breath in lifts you up, reaches your rib cage out of your hips. If this is a little tight in your lower back, you can send the arms a little bit longer and turn down the volume. If you'd like a little more, keep your hip bones connected with the earth, but bring the hands back a little further and press into the palms of the hands, keeping a bend into the elbows for a cobra. So Sphinx or cobra, as long as there's no pinching or pulling in your lower back. Turning up the volume by bringing the hands closer, turning down the volume by sending them away. Lifting your heart to the horizon, breathing in and noticing how that breath in lifts you up. Keep the softness in the shoulders, another deep breath in. And exhale, float the hands down. Float the forehead down. We're going to return back to our child's pose. So send the hips to the heels, lengthen out through the spine. We're going to come into an up dog and a downward dog, moving and traveling with the breath. So tucking the toes under, breathing in, lift the hips,
Lengthen through the spine. Send the shoulder blades down into your back pockets, reaching your rib cage out of your pelvis. Crown reaching long from your tailbone. We breathe in to lift the hips, and as we breathe out, we send the body weight forward. You can stop at plank, knees or toes, or you can continue to come forward into your cobra or up dog by planting those tops of the feet down. Tucking the toes under, breathing in, downward dog, breathing out, hinging forward, up dog, cobra. Breathing in, lift the hips, hugging the navel in towards the spine, protecting your lower back. Breathing out, hinging forward into plank or lifting the heart into up dog. Tucking toes under one more time. Breathing in, lift those hips. Breathing out, hinging forward. Knees or toes, cobra or up dog. Floating the knees down, peeling down. Heart comes down last. Either stacking the hands underneath the forehead or taking the hands above your crown and turning your face to one side. This is crocodile pose. Let the toes touch, the heels drop out to the side, and just allow yourself to come into stillness here. So hands either stacked under the forehead or head turned to one side as you find a moment of stillness, a moment of presence. And like that wave of a breath travelling in and out of the body, in our Digaswama breath or our 3-part breath, noticing now how the breath travels like a wave through the back of the body. In and out. Noticing that wave travelling up the body on the breath in and back down the body on the breath out. If your head is turned to one side, very gently breathe in, and as you exhale, turn to face the other side. 3 to 5 breaths here, noticing that wave of a breath travelling in and out of the body. And then very gently rolling over onto your back. Have a big stretch, maybe a yawn, a sigh. We're going to finish with a slightly stronger move called fish. Now, if you happen to have a blanket or a cushion, I'm going to show you a few variations. This is a heart opener. And in opening up through the upper chest and through the heart, fish allows you to open up also through the rib cage and the lungs. So it basically opens up your breath. If you have a blanket, roll it up like, I don't know, a straw, I guess, and put it lengthways behind you. Very gently roll back over and allow your arms to just relax by your side, palms facing up. Now, if this is a little strong in your lower back, you can pop a bend into your knees because the focus here is in the heart space, not in the lower back or the pelvis. So this is your first option. Of course, if you have a cushion, you can always do the same with the cushion, fold it in half and place it between your shoulder blades. If you are lucky enough to have a block available, you can also do this with a yoga block placed in between your shoulder blades, and you can allow your head to rest on the floor, and it's a gentle heart opener. So they are your options. You can lay in stillness here in fish pose, or you may choose to come into the full variation of the fish, which I want to remind you of ahimsa. So practicing a model
or a variation of the fish that feels right for your body today in this given moment. So being present in the moment, but also noticing what feels right for you. So in the full variation of the fish, we place our palms down underneath our thighs. You might like to take watches or rings or bracelets off if they're quite chunky. And activating through the legs by pointing the toes, hugging the thighs to the thigh bones, and lengthening those arms out really long underneath your body. Here, we're going to press into the forearms all the way to the elbows. Breathe in, look towards pointed toes. Now we keep the lift of the torso as we round those shoulders back and down. Lift the heart, lift your gaze, and maybe even look to the wall behind you. Mouth stays relaxed and open on any backward tilt of the head. We breathe in to come out, look towards the toes, and exhale, float back down. So always come out of that pose exactly the same way that you went into it. Let's try that again if you'd like. Otherwise, stay in your supported fish pose with your blanket, your pillow, or your block underneath your shoulder blades. Breathing in, look towards the toes, pressing into the elbows, lift your heart, lightly draw the shoulder blades back and down. Keep the mouth relaxed and open as you look behind you. And then gently coming out of it by breathing in, looking towards the toes, and then exhale, lowering down. Counter pose is to hug the knees in towards the chest. If you have a blanket or a pillow behind you, gently roll over to one side, remove the blanket or the pillow, come onto your back and hug your knees in. Start to circle those knees in one direction and then circle in the other, massaging out through your lower back. Now it might feel nice to also come into a position where the feet are on the floor for a supine lumbar twist by gently allowing the knees to drop out to one side, keeping the shoulders connected to the earth, the heart space open. Breathing in, coming back to center, and breathing out, let them drop out to the other side again. Shoulder blades connect with the earth, heart remains open. We can do that either fast or slow, moving with the breath, or holding that shape for a few breaths if you like. The choice is yours. So noticing how your body feels in every given moment of your practice, practicing ahimsa, so non-violence towards yourself, kindness and compassion extended to all parts of you in every given moment of your practice. Trusting your body, trusting your body's intuition, and be guided by that. Whilst also practicing Svadhyaya or mindfulness, being very mindful of how your body and your breath react in every given moment. And of course, using your breath to soften into those shapes. So as we finish our practice today with Shavasana, remembering your options, legs out long, popping a bend into the knees, letting the knees drop towards one another, or coming into supine butterfly or reclining butterfly position. Whatever feels most comfortable for you, making sure you are warm and comfortable. And if you've got something to place over your eyes, please do. So taking the time to get comfortable, to get warm as we finish once again our practice with Shavasana or corpse pose. This is our relaxation component of the class, and after each physical yoga practice, it is most beneficial to rest here for 5 to 10 minutes to embody the benefits of your practice and to also develop Svadhyaya or self-awareness. So as you close your eyes and return to your body and the union of your body with your breath, once again noticing that wave of a breath traveling in and out of your body. You might like to return to that 3-part Digaswama breath if you choose, either by placing the hands on your body or resting them by your side.
Returning to the breath, returning to the pranayama, noticing how the breath travels in and out of the body like a rolling wave, coming in and out of the shoreline of your body. And we can go one step further here. If you close your mouth and breathe in and out through the nose, we can make this a noisy breath, or we call it a pharyngeal breath, by gently allowing the back of the tongue to hit the top of the throat and make a noise a bit like Darth Vader or the rolling wave of an ocean coming in and out of the shoreline. In yoga, there is a saying that a noisy breath is a breath with control. So allow this noise, this pharyngeal breath, to give you a little more control over the prana, or the energy that comes in and out of your body. Feeling and hearing your breath. You might go one step further with the imagery and imagine yourself resting on a warm beach. The sun, warm and radiating, a gentle heat that warms your body, the sunlight kissing your skin, and the sound of the rolling waves are matching the sound of your breath, the movement of your breath. As the waves lap at the shoreline, so too does your body find stillness at the top of the breath as you hold full expansion. And again at the end of the breath as you soften into the warmth. Let's just stay here for a few more rounds of breath. At the end of your next exhalation, release the breath. Let it return to a natural flow, a natural rhythm. Having a big stretch, a big yawn. Feel as if you're waking up for the first time today. And gently roll over to your preferred side and just pause there for a moment. Maybe even hug your knees in. Give yourself a loving, warm embrace, sending kindness, compassion, and gratitude to all parts of you that showed up today, that were present, mindful. All parts of you that gave yourself time to simply be. And then gently coming up to a comfortable seat. Once again, we finish by locking in all of that positivity that you've just created. Breathing in, circling the hands up. And exhale, drawing the hands down to the heart. Offering a sign of gratitude, kindness, and respect to yourself and others. Namaste.